Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. We're going to talk today all about this full moon in Aries that is happening on Thursday, October 17th, 2024, and the astrology of this moon. We're going to talk about the chakra that this moon is activating, the system of the body that it's going to be influencing, which gene key this full moon happens to be landing on, and we're going to read about the city of this gene key that this moon is landing on. And with all that information, we get a really beautiful whole kind of perspective of what does this moon mean for us? How is this going to affect us as a collective? So I'm super excited to go over all of that information. Thank you guys for being here. Please say hi in the chat if you are watching live. Hello, Bernadine. Hello, Mary. Welcome in. I've been doing a lot of broadcasts lately, and they have been super fun. So make sure that you stay on top of all the broadcasts that are going on right now. The best way to do that is to actually become a member of our global community. It is totally free to join our space. It is held within the Mighty Networks app, and this is where I host free events. We just had our Moon Goddess Akashic Healing Retreat. Hello, Tori, welcome in. And it was so amazing. It was so much fun. Hello, Dawn, welcome in. And yeah, so it is a place where you can stay in touch with the community. You can get to know other people from the community. You can connect with like-minded individuals, and the community is really the best part of our whole program. I do have some awesome classes that are currently going on. We have an astrology school. It's a year-long program. It's not too late to join. We have had 3 classes so far. We have 2 classes a month. One of them is a lecture. One of them is a discussion. We are now covering aspects this month and how to interpret aspects in an astrology chart. So if you want to become an astrologer, this is definitely the class to check out. Also, Wanted to let you guys know that the Moon Goddess Training 2025 is now open for registration. This program is the most comprehensive program that I offer. It has 3 full levels, and it takes an entire year to complete this course. It is actually an Akashic Priestess path and a 3-part series with the end goal of becoming certified as an Akashic Records reader. And so in level 1, you learn the fundamentals of how the Akashic Records work and what they are. And we do this as we journey through the mystery schools of ancient Atlantis, learning all kinds of things: Hermetic alchemy, the laws of the universe, the Kundalini yoga and how Kundalini yoga can help us embody this practice, the gene keys, astrology, sacred geometry. I could go on and on. But this class is truly the most powerful and fundamental mystery school. It's like going back in time into ancient Atlantis and going through and remembering all of the information that you already know deep inside from your past lives in ancient Atlantis, but bringing it back to your modern life and learning how to use the tools in this lifetime to fulfill your mission and your purpose. In level 2, we learn to apply the teachings deeply in our personal life, inviting us to heal from trauma and awaken our intuitive abilities that will ultimately help us to tap into the Akashic Records. And then level 3 is the Akashic Records Reader Certification, where you get to learn and practice doing Akashic Record readings in your own unique way. So we begin on January 29th of 2025 with the new moon in Aquarius and the Chinese New Year. And here's something fun. If you click the link in my description, it'll take you to this page and you'll get to read all this information on your own time. But this new moon in Aquarius is a time of revolution, a time of change. It's going to be very, very powerful. And it is the perfect frequency to support us as we step into a new world together. And this is also the Chinese New Year of the Earth Snake. And the Moon Goddess Training is all about the Kundalini rising and the embodiment of that sacred, Kundalini energy. And the snake in the Chinese zodiac represents calmness, groundedness, especially the earth snake, stability, as well as Kundalini rising and elevation. So it's the perfect activation for our Moon Goddess journey. So check out all the information. This program is amazing. There's early bird deals on all 3 levels. And there is a super deal if you want to buy all 3 classes, which is what I recommend. You purchase all 3 classes, but you only pay for 2 of them. So you basically get one totally free. And when you go and you actually make the payment, the program itself will guide you. If you want to do a payment plan, you can do that. And so it is ultimately the best freaking thing that you can do is go through that program and do the payments to pay for all 3 classes. So just freaking dive in, you guys. This is going to be freaking amazing in 2025. So excited. Tori says, I feel next year Moon Goddess Training will be super powerful with Pluto and Aquarius for good. Oh my God, you're right. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. This is true. It's the new world. So it's like the new frequency, and we are tuning into that energy and remembering the wisdom and bringing it into our, lives right now. So it is just amazing. All right, let's dive into this new moon, this full moon in Aries. And I'm going to be showing you literally a page from my book, Seasons and Stargates, your annual astrology guide. If you didn't know, I actually wrote a book. I am working on writing next year's book, which begins with Aries season and it ends with Pisces season. It goes through the entire astrological year and it tells you all the astrology, all the general information of the season, how to navigate through the season, where to find it in your chart, and what that means for you. And basically, it's the Atlantean year. Hello, Destiny. Welcome in. And this is what we do also in our Starseed membership. We follow the Atlantean astrological year. And it begins with the spring equinox and Aries, which is the first season of the zodiac. And so this is available. You can get it on my website. Links are below if you want to purchase the book. There's plenty of information left. It goes all the way through March 21st of 2025. And we're halfway. So there's still like half of the information of the book that is still relevant. And it's also fun to go back and look. So this is from the book about the full moon in Aries and the important major aspects of this energy. Hello, Jeanette. Welcome in. So this full moon in Aries is happening on October 17th at 24 degrees, 35 minutes of Aries, being the moon that ushers us out of eclipse season. Because remember, we just had eclipses. This moon is very important because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It always brings with it some kind of initiation or a new beginning. Aries is also about action and sparking things to life. Aries can also be an impulsive energy that acts without thinking, but sometimes this is what we need to get things going from stagnation or inertia. Now, in general, a full moon is going to heighten our emotions, is going to make our feelings seem louder, and also call us to not run away from them. Full moons are times of celebration, where the culmination of the moon cycle has arrived and we get to see what we have manifested in the current moon cycle, which is usually 28 and a half days. Now, this moon is activating the stargates of Andromeda, which is about liberating the soul, breaking free of the chains that hold us back. It is activating Arcturus stargates, which is all about Hermetic alchemy, the wisdom of the ages, the occult, the magic of alchemizing our lives, and also includes like deep knowledge like sacred geometry. Arcturians brought that like sacred math so that we can help understand our world better. It's activating Orion stargates. Orion is one of the most powerful, I would say, if not the most powerful stargate of them all, because it is what the ancient Atlanteans tapped into to connect to the ninth dimension, which is basically the dimension of God, the universe, the cosmos, the void. Hello, Raessa, welcome in. And Orion is also about tapping into that like Akashic of the universe, but also it's a map to understanding like where we come from. Hello, Oracle of the Mermaid, welcome in. And Algol, which is known as the demon star, and also working through doing shadow work and working within the realm of shadow. The chakra that this full moon activates is the root chakra. So we're talking about that space where we either feel grounded, connected to the earth, connected to our base, or we don't. So it's very important to check in with, do I feel grounded? Do I feel secure? The root chakra is about security. It's also about sexuality. And so this energy is activating that sexual frequency. And it is, Mars ruled. Aries is ruled by Mars. And so we'll look at where Mars is. And it's actually in a very intense spot for this moon. But he's the planet of action and drive. And it is about sexuality as well. And this activates the reproductive system. And so it's about sparking life. It's about birthing life. It is a full moon, so it is a completion. And so it's about looking back and celebrating the things that we have manifested, the things that have made us feel more secure in that way. And then the gene key that this full moon is on the 42nd gene key. And we'll talk in a little bit more detail about that gene key towards the end of the broadcast. But for now, let's actually go look at the chart. So the first thing that I notice about this chart is that all of the planets are pretty like evenly spread along the wheel. And when this happens, it creates a lot of like communication between the planets because the aspects happen in between the planets. And it's like they're either having conversations or arguments, they're either like connecting in a beautiful, powerful way, or they're like having a very rough time connecting with each other. But when everything is spread out evenly, it creates a lot of like energy, and it can be friction and it can be flow. And it's like, it just can feel overwhelming. And I think that that's the first thing that we should understand. Hello, Olga, welcome in. About this full moon is that it is busy AF. So a full moon happens when the moon opposes the sun, and they're directly opposite each other in the chart at exactly the same degree, but in opposite signs. So this is 24 degrees, 35 minutes of Aries and Libra. Now, the first important thing is this. Chiron is conjunct this full moon. Who is Chiron? Chiron is known as the wounded healer. So this is deep opportunity to heal at an emotional level by taking action, Aries, by actually being courageous and believing in yourself and being strong within yourself and not being afraid to do something to make things happen. The next thing that I want to show you is, let's look at Mars, because Mars is the ruler of this full moon. And Mars is actually making pretty much, not exact, but within 2 degrees, a T-square with this moon. Now, squares are aspects that bring in challenging energy, and they are pushing us to take action. So the action is focused on healing with Chiron, healing our sense of self, healing our identity, feeling more comfortable with who we are. Mars is like, you can't sit on your butt anymore. You have to actually do something about it, except the problem with this energy is that Mars is in Cancer, and Mars is in fall position in Cancer. It much rather prefers to be in Capricorn, but it's not. It's in the realm of the moon. And this is very unique. This is what we call mutual reception in astrology, where one sign and where one planet is in a sign and it's making an aspect, or even not making an aspect, but connecting to the energy of another planet, and they're like in each other's signs. So you know that the moon rules Cancer, and you know that Mars rules Aries. So they're in each other's houses. So in a way, so I feel like that's beautiful, because the moon is like, okay, but wait a minute. I know that you don't like this space. I know that Mars, you don't like Cancer. I know that you don't like emotions, because emotions make it harder for you to make decisions and get clarity about what to do and how to act and how to take action in your lives. Emotions come with waves that go up and down, and there's no clarity in the now. It's like having emotional authority in human design. So the moon is saying, but I know that world, and you know my world. So if we kind of like close our eyes and like telepathically communicate with each other, we can tune into each other's energy and pull from each other's energy and actually make this a positive experience where we are listening to emotion and paying attention to the messages that the emotions bring, but not letting the emotions get in the way of actually taking action. So this will take emotional intelligence and a lot of patience for us to get the clarity that we need to take the action that we need to heal in our lives, to heal ourselves. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's intense, because at the same time, you see an opposition from Mars to Pluto. And that opposition is not exact, but it is within orb. And then Pluto is T-squaring the moon as well. So what do we call this in astrology? We call it a grand cross or a grand square. And the energy of this grand cross, we've been feeling for like a week already. And I've noticed in the collective, things are crazy. People are acting kind of weird. Like everyone's like all over the place. The energy just feels like there's a lot of friction. Like we crashed our car. It wasn't anything crazy. We just like bumped into like this post that we didn't see was there, and that it was like, what is happening right now? And I remember it was this weekend, the Leo King was like, don't go anywhere this weekend, and he was talking about this energy, and this energy is only getting stronger because the full moon magnifies everything. And so it's a little crazy out there, you know. You got to be careful. You got to kind of watch where you're stepping, be very aware of your surroundings. It's challenging, you know. These squares are creating the friction that are ultimately leading us to take action, but we don't want to take action from the wrong place, either emotionally or mentally. Like you don't want to just act without thinking. You do want to act, but you want to be careful about how you do it. You want to be mature about how you do it. And Mars opposed Pluto is one of the kind of gnarliest like transits aspects that we can have. It is difficult. It brings up aggression. It brings up like intensity. It brings up uncomfortableness. It's like the oppositions make us feel like, you know, we're up against something. And not to mention that the transit of Pluto right now is super potent, because Pluto just went direct at 29 degrees of Capricorn, and that's the last degree of Capricorn. The next one is 0 of Aquarius. And so now it went direct from its retrograde, and on November 17th, like a month from now, almost exactly a month from this full moon, he enters Aquarius for good, and we will no longer see Pluto in Capricorn ever again for the rest of our lives. And so we're closing chapters. We're closing, like, so right now there's huge opportunity for healing, but there's also like traps everywhere. So you have to be like at your best to be able to navigate through this intense energy. And that is the most important thing about this full moon in general. But there are other aspects that bring in, you know, maybe a little bit of more harmony, or maybe not, maybe they exacerbate the energy, but let's look at some of the other ones. So if we erase all of this, the next thing that I want to point out is Venus. So Venus is at 29 degrees of Scorpio. So she's also on the edge. There's a lot of edge energies. Pluto is also at 29 degrees, like we just talked about. They're making an exact, basically, sextile. And Venus sextile Pluto can bring in beautiful depth into our relationships, and can also bring in the energy of like intensity, but in a like positive way. Like we use this because Venus represents what we truly desire, and we desire more depth. We desire like deeper things, like not surface level stuff. So the sextile to Pluto kind of helps like, hey, this is how you do this. Like, don't be afraid of looking further. Don't be afraid of connecting more deeply. Like, let there be more intimacy, you know? And I think that that's a beautiful aspect. So that's one of the things. The other thing is that there is an opposition from Venus to Uranus, and that can be, I don't know, you just don't know, because it's unexpected changes in relationship, and or things that show up within the realm of relationship that you have to like face, you know, you have to like see why did this show up, and you have to deal with it. So that can be positive change, but it can also be change that's super uncomfortable. And it kind of, this is the kind of thing that keeps you on your toes. Now, the other thing that's happening is that Venus is also at the same time making a sextile to Vesta. And I included her here because she's actually a big part of this. Vesta is known as the keeper of the sacred flame. And she's in Virgo right now. And this is holding purity. Like, find purity, connect to purity. Virgo represents the virgin. Virgo also represents daily life, routines, like the flame is being held by how present you are being right now. And if you can see through all the crazy lines, these three, Vesta, Uranus, and Pluto, are actually trining each other. So they are creating a grand trine in the element of earth. Grand trines bring in harmonious energy. So this is a positive thing. And it is easy flow between these energies. And then you can see the kite. The kite is pointing at Venus. So the action is going to happen in the realm of relationships. This is where we are being kind of guided towards. So it's very important to pay attention to the realm of relationship. And you can see also that Venus is playing a big role. And because this is a full moon in Aries, Mars is playing a big role. And Mars himself is also in water. So it's emotional. There's emotional energy. Very, very present and in our face right now. And we've been having to like move through this energy very strongly. But it doesn't end there yet, because you'll see that Venus is also making a beautiful trine to Neptune, who's also in water. And they themselves are within orb making a trine to Mars. It's looking kind of pretty now, right? And so what this basically is like activating for us, and it's not exact. And if it was exact, I would be like, this is insane. But this is basically a grand trine in water and a grand trine in earth. And these are all within orb of sextiles to each other. Not exact, remember, but they're within orb sextiles to each other. We just literally learned about this in our astrology school. So, and honestly, I actually didn't realize that it was a Star of David until just now. Okay, but you can see like 22, 26, 27, 29, 29, 25. They're all like within orb. It's not exact. It's not like like, oh my God, but it's a big deal, right? Because the Star of David is like this beautiful harmonic energy that aligns us with the divine. The Star of David is basically the Merkaba, and it is literally the two, it's the two trinities, and it's the two triangles that it's the Star of David, and is also called a grand sextile. And so the triangle pointing down and the triangle pointing up activate this portal of like the Merkaba, which is our like vehicle. It's our chariot to elevate, to evolve. And this is amazing. So to say that this is a busy energy is like, it's like, dude, and it doesn't even end there. Because then what we have, it keeps going. I mean, there's so much. Look at Jupiter making a trine to the sun. Not exact, but Sun trine Jupiter is one of the most beautiful aspects that you can have. We just saw the exact trine a few days ago, but this is still happening during this full moon. This brings auspiciousness. This brings opportunity. This brings the ability to like literally manifest the things that you truly want. And yeah, so that is actually really, really beautiful. And then there's also a sextile within orb, actually almost exact to Chiron. So Jupiter is literally trining and sextiling the full moon. And Jupiter is retrograde. So we're doing internal processing with Jupiter right now, but it's still like super active and expands things. So, I mean, right? Like that's crazy. That's just crazy. So this full moon is going to be intense. There is so much going on at the same time that this can feel overwhelming. The fact that this full moon is in a grand square with Pluto and Mars is intense. The energy at a shadow frequency can be used for very bad things. On one side, we feel determined, passionate, ready to take on anything. And on the other, we feel the need to be in control, and our volatile and intense emotions don't help with this. But you have the power at this time, so you have to use it wisely. The grand trines on this day are going to bring in harmonious energy. So grand trine in earth can ground us and help us tune into what we need. Grand trine in water can enhance our intuition and help us navigate the emotional waters. There's deep changes that are coming to our relationships. This moon is really the one giving us the power to make the changes that the new moon solar eclipse in Libra initiated and drastically changed our situation so that we have no choice but to change. And with Venus at the last degree of Scorpio, there's no turning back. If you have not made any changes yet, now is like the absolute time to do so that you continue to move forward in your life. So this is a powerful moon because this is also the one, like I said, that is closing off the eclipse cycle. So we talked about the stargates. Let's dive into the gene key of this full moon. So where is this full moon happening? It's happening on the 42nd gene key. And if you don't know what the gene keys are, welcome. You're welcome. Make sure you have this book. You should be the owner of this book and you should study your gene keys. So 42nd gene key, letting go of living and dying. This gene key moves from the shadow of expectation to the gift of detachment to the city of celebration. And it is part of the ring of life and death, which I would actually love to read to you about what is the ring of life and death. The ring of life and death, gene keys. For some reason, it's like calling my attention. So the gene keys form codon rings, just like DNA does. And, you know, the one that this gene key belongs to is called the ring of life and death. So here's what this means. The ring of life and death is a complex genetic codon group governing the many processes that bring human beings in and out of form. Wheeling in the cosmic forces of creation and destruction, this ring is based upon change and the continual mutation of life. In fact, in all cycles of physical cellular mutation, life is programmed to follow the archetypal process represented by these 6 gene keys. Its secrets are revealed in the simple wisdom of the 4 noble truths and the Eightfold Path left by none other than the Buddha. All life is change and is thus the subject to cessation, and all truth lies in the awareness of the present moment. What I was talking about, Vesta and Virgo. Another message contained within the ring of life and death is that the chaos of play is to be deeply trusted and revered. Play is the expression of genius, and genius always finds a new solution to the challenges it meets along the way. So we're talking about the 3rd gene key, the 20th, the 23rd, the 24th, the 27th, and the 42nd. So going a little bit deeply into this 42nd city of celebration, it's described as the punchline. The 42nd city is about the transcendence of death. These are the sages who teach humanity about the illusion of death. Hello, Venus. They do not teach us through knowledge, but through their attitudes. This is a state beyond detachment. Detachment can never reach right to the core of existence because it feeds on the duality of the observer and the observed. In detachment, the observer watches the observed, When the 42nd city explodes, and it does explode, the observer becomes observed. The indwelling awareness merges back into its source, which is pure consciousness. With the 42nd city, there is only one manifestation occurring, and this is the state of celebration. Everything is experienced as dying, oh God, just as it is with detachment, but the difference now is that something somewhere deep within the vehicle begins to laugh. Oh my God, it's too funny. This laughter rocks the whole vehicle. Hey, Merkaba, since it emerges from the source of creation, Orion, the 42nd city sees the punchline of what it means to be human. When someone has entered the doorway of death deeply enough within themselves, they discover the profound meaninglessness of existence. And as this great truth begins to permeate them from the inside out, it literally kills off every aspect of their own identification with what they are. Holy shit. The joke, I added that commentary, the joke at the heart of all creation can only be experienced directly. It lives within the heart of every cell of your being. You are constantly in a state of dying. Every cell within your body is dying from the moment it is created. So in essence, you are not really alive at all. You are simply a passage through which matter is endlessly converted into energy. When your awareness stops identifying with all this movement and finally comes to rest, you actually disappear. It is rather like sitting by a river and following the currents of eddies with your eyes as they continually disappear from view. If you stop watching the river and simply gaze at it with your peripheral vision, you often have a curious experience of timelessness. The river no longer has direction. It simply comes at you and out of you from every part of your being. This moment of life that isn't really a movement, this movement of life that isn't really a movement is the sound of celebration. You do not know whether something is being born or something is dying. There is simply endless pulse as the river laughs at the meaninglessness of it all. The transition from the shadow to the city, from expectation to celebration does not occur within time. The process of detachment emerging over time as you accept your shadow patterns is in fact an illusion. Even though it may feel to you as though you are making progress from one state to another, nothing has really occurred. Awareness is simply playing with itself. In a sense, it is playing at being serious. Awareness enjoys the seriousness of being on a quest, of being a hero or a heroine within the drama of your life. However, when the citic state is experienced, a great realization dawns. You have always been asleep, even as you thought you were evolving and that you were doing really well at being detached. You were still asleep. You cannot be half awake. You are either asleep or you are awake. In spiritual circles, we often use the word awakening as though this were a steady progressive occurrence from one state to another. In fact, it is a sudden occurrence. It is not even an event. It is the end of all events. The 42nd city is akin to someone suddenly getting the punchline of a joke. Up until that point, the whole storyline was a setup that was leading to this final insight. And as with all great jokes, you can only laugh because in a sense, you have allowed yourself to be tricked. The physical mirror of these truths can be found in human DNA. The DNA helix uses human forms to continually reshape and reinvent itself. It is like some cosmic serpent that endlessly keeps shedding its skins. Our bodies are those skins. Neither can you break through to this truth. The chains of DNA cannot be broken. It is more that you somehow slip through the net almost as though it were a mistake, and suddenly you see the joke. That we are not those skins. We are the serpent. Timeless, unpredictable, fluid, and playful. The one in whom the realization of this city has dawned is filled with laughter, and all they wish to do is share this laughter with others. They do not know how or why this has occurred to them, and they do not know whether it will occur to anyone else. The citic state occurs outside of the human mind, silencing all the noise. There are no practices that assure it will happen. There is nothing at all anyone can do to trigger this state. It simply happens according to fate, which engages the minds of those to whom it hasn't occurred. This is why there is nothing to do except celebrate. What else is there left to do? Celebration is the direct manifestation of true awakening, rooted as it is in the utter helplessness of what it means to be alive and dying inside a human body. Damn. God, man. Richard Rudd, how do you do it? How do you do it? Oh, this is a good one, you guys. They're all good. You know what I mean? I feel like I say that every time. Okay, sneak peek into tomorrow's broadcast, where I'm going to be going live and talking about the human design version, the human design side and transit reading of everything we just talked about, which is freaking epic altogether. The 42nd gate is the gate of growth, also called increase. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the channel of maturation, a design of balanced development, the sensing circuit, which is all about understanding things after they happen, not while they're happening. So not clarity in the moment, clarity as you look back at experiences. So this is all about being in the moment. Oh my goodness. This is so amazing. This full moon is so freaking powerful. Oh my God. I literally, like, that just blew my mind, because I hadn't, I look at these things, but it's not really until I sit down and put it all together like this that it like opens up the mind, and makes me realize, whoa, this is crazy. So, very in the moment kind of analysis that we do together here on this channel for Grace. So I hope you guys enjoy this amazing moon. Where is this happening in your chart? Where is Aries in your chart? Thank you guys. So, thank you again for being here, for being a part of this community. Please check out all the links in the description. Join us in the global community. I'll be back tomorrow night to talk about the human design transit reading of this full moon, and we can get the full picture of how this is going to be affecting us. And then on the day of the full moon, on Thursday, we're going to be having our ritual and ceremony here live on YouTube, where I'll play music, I'll sing. We're going to have a good time. Love you guys. See you next time, and happy full moon in Aries.